He's pleading, begging the victim. Hopeless. The officer steps in and demands compliance. Freeze. Still. Wait. He resists, attempting to shift the blame. The deputy demands answers, demanding some context, trying to establish control, identifying the victim. Noted. Investigating the conflict. His story begins. He immediately tries downplaying everything. They met. Apparently she just wanted her belongings. He claims he agreed to leave. He claimed he was heading to his mom's, but his emotional attachment kept him there? Right. Gotcha. Now he brings up a text message exchange. Family. He claims his cousin sent a warning. Apparently his girlfriend was trying to make contact. Understood. The deputy clarifies the relationships. Right. Yet. Sure. Unpacking. Then, he points out his parked car, feeling trapped. He claims he only wanted to communicate. He insists that his intentions were peaceful, avoiding a fight. But watch as he makes a massive admission. He openly admits to grabbing her. He even demonstrates the physical hold. He describes exactly how he forced the interaction. Before deputies finally intervened, he immediately blames her emotional state for the drama. Classic deflection tactic. He claims he offered her a way out, to avoid a scene, offering her belongings to de-escalate on his terms, while involving his family. Let's watch how he tries to walk away here, claiming he just wants to clear his head. He points out they have multiple hotel rooms, trying to paint a picture of normal logistics. But watch his body language, he is incredibly tense. He keeps repeating how emotionally drained she is, framing himself as the victim here. Claiming her distress is what upsets him. He complains about his ruined weekend plans, prioritizing his own comfort over her safety. A major red flag. The officer interrupts him. Milton. Let's watch his reaction to this question. Here, Milton immediately denies any physical altercation, downplaying the situation to the police officer. He switches tactics to professing his deep love for her. The officer remains skeptical. Milton continues to over-explain their relationship dynamic, still calling her emotionally unstable. Again, the officer presses further. We just heard him admit to grabbing her, even though he frames it as a gentle gesture. He admits she wanted him away. She just wanted her things so she could leave. He claims he complied. Checking his story, he points them to room 16. Now the officer asks for his identification, to run his name, but Milton claims he does not have it. The officer asks for his address. Milton tries to reassure the deputy he is harmless, mentioning he plays sports to build rapport. Calling out to her, the deputy starts running his name through dispatch. He dismisses the question. The officer presses on, asking about physical violence. The suspect immediately gets defensive and starts deflecting. He openly challenges the officers on the scene. Officers check him for injuries. Again, he denies any physical contact, downplaying the situation. The deputy asks what triggered the call. He begins explaining his side of the story, but his story remains disorganized. He claims he was hanging out with family. Before getting distracted, he points out where everyone was during the incident, repeating that nothing turned violent. He insists she does not have any marks. Then he bizarrely shifts focus to his clothes, dismissing the entire confrontation. Undeterred, the responding officer explains they just wanted to talk, attempting to de-escalate the tension. He asks if the man will depart. The suspect surprisingly complies without any fuss. Good. Now, another officer introduces himself to the female, checking her welfare. He immediately offers medical assistance. Declined. Right. He asks to clarify their relationship, establishing who the suspect is. She confirms they are dating. He probes further to gather background information. How long? Quietly. Only a short time. The officer asks her what went down. She explains that a family issue sparked it. The cousin apparently made some unwelcome advances. That triggered a massive argument between them. She tried to walk away to defuse things, just to grab her belongings. Understood. But he actively blocked her from leaving. Noted. Right. The deputy reconstructs the jealousy-fueled argument. The suspect falsely accused her of texting another guy, but that simply was not true. She kept pleading with him, denying it. Understood. Next, the officer asks if he attacked. Where exactly? Got it? Asking where. The officer asks a critical domestic violence question. Strangulation. Did she black out during this? He looks closer to check for marks. He spots clear bruising left by the suspect, confirming it. Terrible. He immediately calls for medical assistance. She needs paramedics. He asks about self-defense and past history, checking if there are prior arrest records. He asks what she wants to happen. Right. But because there is visible trauma here, and she is giving details, action is required. Law enforcement must follow mandatory arrest protocols. It is no longer up to the victim, even if she is hesitant to prosecute. The state steps in to ensure safety. This prevents the victim from feeling blamed. Do they share a residence? They do not. He asks for her location. Where does she live? Is she safe at her home? She says yes. Where is the suspect living? She is not sure. Perhaps somewhere nearby. The address is saved in her phone. Saved right there. The deputy reassures her, keeping things calm. Let's watch as he gets her info. Getting her name. They identify her as Alyssa. Let's check how he handles her safety. To leave the area, she has her own vehicle, which is parked right here. Now he shifts focus to potential alcohol use. During the evening, she admits to light drinking. Understood. He tries establishing a clear timeline next, to pin down the assault time. Next he asks about the hotel room, contents, asking who rented it. She confirms the room is registered in her name, but her belongings are still inside. He asks if the attack just occurred, and why they both came downstairs together. She was trying to escape the room, but the suspect pursued her. Exactly. Indeed. Now the officer probes the physical strangulation, asking for a specific count. Trauma can severely cloud memory recall. He offers some estimated guesses. She cannot remember. Her mind blocked it. Yes. Let's look at why squeezing is critical here. For felony charges. Was her breathing restricted every single time, or just once? She explains how he physically shoved her as she attempted exit, leading directly to her neck injuries. Next he checks for blunt impact blows, like punches. No. Which rules out facial strikes. The officer assigns his partner for support. They must document this domestic assault to build a solid case. Properly, the officer immediately shifts focus, asking about her last drink of alcohol. She is caught off guard. He asks again to confirm when she last drank. Booze. Only 2 hours ago, she admits. Now, the police must make sure she is legally sober enough to drive away from the scene, because they already know the suspect is going to jail. Either way, the suspect is leaving in handcuffs. Watch how the officer systematically confirms the victim's timeline here. Perfect. Next, he carefully maps out the entire physical altercation. The boyfriend started the dispute over text messages. He falsely accused her of talking to family. She denied it, but he did not listen. Verbal abuse rapidly turned into violent assault, specifically choking her by the throat. That explains the visible red marks and bruising, left-right on her neck. Exactly. He notes it. The police are gathering solid physical evidence. To secure a conviction? None. He's wrapping up. Now, he heads back over to the suspect. Officers are preparing for the arrest. First, they ensure she has her belongings before they separate them. He is still acting oblivious. Then, boom. The officer delivers the news immediately, ordering him to raise his hands. Instantly, the suspect goes into denial. Standard shock reaction. He begins begging the cops, trying to dodge handcuffs, but they command him to stop resisting. Period. It is too late for excuses. Tempers are flaring. Listen. Look. Wait. The suspect immediately begins making excuses, but the officers aren't buying it. Period. They cuff him right there. Visible marks tell the whole story. Complete chaos erupts. Unbelievable. The tension peaks. Now, you and I can see more backup arriving. Right here. Multiple units are securing the scene. Exactly. His fate is sealed. Court is next. Standard pat-down starts now. The deputy double-checks. Officers always ask about sharp objects. Safety is the top priority. Needles and knives are major hazards. They cannot take chances. A bit of dark humor. Every pocket gets thoroughly checked. Let's pay close attention to this search. The suspect admits to carrying cash. Confirmed. Reality hits. He realizes he is going to jail. An ambulance is offered. But his next request is rather bizarre. A bathroom break. They deny his stall tactic. Confused. Police department facilities only now. He is clearly struggling here. The officer remains firm. Where is he going? The suspect genuinely has no clue. Then the search takes a turn. The deputy spots something suspicious. Time to inspect it. We can see the suspect is already complaining. He tries deflecting by acting highly frustrated. An officer begins searching. The suspect claims they are overdoing it. He tries questioning their field tactics. The officer inspects closely. Suddenly, the suspect demands medical attention. Right now. But the deputy sets boundaries immediately. He remains under arrest anyway. The suspect complies, making his status clear. Now he asks to use his phone. The deputy pivots. He wants to know the actual medical issue, to inform the dispatchers. He hesitates. The officer repeats the question very clearly, asking for specific symptoms. He claims drug withdrawal. The officer verifies. The suspect repeats, pushing for details. But he stalls. Paramedics will need to know the substance. Still, he avoids answering. Just withdrawal, nothing else. He claims he is feeling extremely sick, complaining about nausea and wanting to vomit, explaining why he asked for water. That is it. But are we dealing with drugs? Or perhaps it is just alcohol? He asks. The suspect nods, meaning both. Understood. Let's look at how they proceed. If he goes to medical, officers will be right there with him. They will watch him the entire time. Once he is cleared by doctors, he goes straight to the police department, and then to booking. Hearing this, the suspect immediately changes his mind. He is trying to redirect officers to his office. Priorities. The deputy offers to take him to get checked. Denied. He insists on getting water because he feels sick. A very common stall tactic. The deputy doesn't buy it. Now he is demanding to go straight to jail.